special guest Danny Ricciani to discuss being a gay conservative in today's environment and many other topics. All things Brunswick, 6 p.m. Tuesdays, right here on the Big Talker Network.
If you enjoy the programming on The Big Talker, the best way to take it with you wherever you go and have access anytime you want it is the Big Talker app. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Go to bigtalker.live, download it for your Apple or Android device. Has all kinds of options for you. You can listen to programming, our video content. You can even watch it right there live on the app. Go to bigtalker.live, download the app for Android or Apple, and enjoy content from the Big Talker wherever you go, whenever you want it, however you want it.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. BigTalker.live is the website where you can download the app for Android and iOS devices. You can pair that smart device with your automobile's entertainment system and take the Big Talker anywhere, everywhere you need to be. You can also peruse our schedule of content, as well as send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. And also, you can send in, requests for an actual morning show host. That's why we're here. And, it's a Thursday. We had Voice in the Pen last night. I've had like 3 hours sleep. I am existing on coffee and anxiety. And just have to start the day by relating a story by Basit Aijaz, I guess. I don't know how it's pronounced. India Times. India Times. Let's start with the headline. Sorry, Mom. That's the headline. Sorry, Mom. Woman's wedding invite disaster saw her accidentally include Pornhub URL on the RSVP cards. Kindly respond by the first of the day, and then the website is hilarious. Wedding preparation is a joyous time, but it is also a phase which involves a lot of stress for the bride, groom, and families. Preparations leading up to the big day are filled with arguments and mistakes on planning, but one of the most common errors come while printing invitations. This one wedding invite surely seems to have gone without a proofread. Yep, this woman has gone viral after she shared an amusing, I guess that's a relative term, an amusing story about her wedding invitations. The bride-to-be revealed how she accidentally directed guests of her upcoming nuptials to Pornhub.com, which for those of you who don't know is an X-rated content platform rather than her official wedding website. Are we sure? All right, the woman who goes by Squidward Tentacles on TikTok, okay, that's just not a good start, saw her excitement quickly turn into amusement once she realized the invites included a XXX mistake. Quote, I got my wedding invitations in the mail today, super exciting, except I made a very large mistake that I'm going to share with you guys so other brides don't make the same mistake because I'm sure it's super common, she said. Okay, that tells me she didn't get enough oxygen during the third trimester or something, because this is not going to be something super common. You're the idiot, or whoever it was who thought it would, and this has happened. Right, we're screwing around in a TV gig before the gig, and we're just like typing silly stuff up on the screen, and then we forget to erase it and put the right words up there. Yeah, whoops. She then points the camera to an RSVP card which directed guests to Pornhub. The woman said she used the fun website as a placeholder. See, I told you, I knew it. Okay, that's what we were doing. We were just placeholding. It's like, okay, where do we want this on the screen? Well, I need to see some words so I have an idea of where it's going to go. Same here. She's like, well, I don't know what our address is yet, so I'll just put in Pornhub as a giggle until we get the address, right? Well, she used the fun website as a placeholder until they received the correct URL for their ceremony, but forgot to remove it before they were printed. I wonder how many people, because they put a phone number directly below it, I wonder how many people called the number. Like, hey, is this Pornhub? Can I get a discount? Let's see, the RSV. For more wedding details, please visit our website, www.pornhub.com. Let's see, it had multiple mistakes, apparently. The proofreading didn't go so well. It wasn't the only mistake she made in the wedding invites. She also failed to update the information about the lodging accommodations she'd arranged for out-of-town attendees for her big days. Quote, I forgot that I put the Super 8 motel as a placeholder as well. Until we figured out the hotels we're going to block off. If you're our guest, I promise I didn't block rooms off at the Super 8 motel, she added. I don't see why not. I mean, I've stayed in a few. You're not there it's not like you're going to live in the hotel. You're just there to sober up before you drive home the next day, right? Everything's going to be happening off-site. So, yeah, go with a discount motor in. She then went on to offer an apology to family and friends, most notably her mom, for getting the invites horribly wrong. Mom, I'm sorry, I will fix it, bride-to-be said. The only thing more baffling than having an X-rated website on the wedding invites is the fact that they were never proofread, which is basically what I was harping on through the whole thing. So there's the beginning of your morning show on Thursday. Very little sleep. Holding on best I can with what I got, so that's still pretty funny. I don't care who you are. That's pretty funny. If ever I get married, that's going to be my official website. But I'm going to do them one better. I'm going to at least put, like, a specific video up there. You want to know why we're getting married? That's right. Grab yourself a beer. Yeah, get yourself a seat. Get comfortable. We're going to show you right now. You're going to show you why this is off the market. Or whatever. Let's see. We had a couple of other fun stories I thought would... I mean, Keith does a good job of sending me crazy stuff, and I'm grateful for it. However, it doesn't want to load today. What's going on? Hello? Hello, computer. When you steal a radio station, make sure you steal the manuals that go with it. It will make life so much easier, I promise. Or you would think. All right, well, I think we just crashed that piece of crap. That was fun. And this is why we should have a professional morning show host. So if y'all want to go to the website and send an email that says, hey, why isn't there a real morning show host on your station? And we'll figure something out. So here's something fun. Florida man. Who's ready for a Florida man story? I am, because I'm dead asleep. USA Today, $16,000 in valuables were stolen from luggage. An Apple AirTag tracked them down. This is coming from Sierra Rains. Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. An airline subcontractor was arrested this month in connection to the theft of $16,000 worth of items out of luggage at a Florida airport, and an Apple AirTag helped track him down, officials said. Giovanni DeLucia, 19. Boy, here's a guy who could use a student loan debt, or at least the education. Giovanni DeLuca, 19-year-old genius of Mary Esther, is charged with 2 counts of grand theft, which is a felony, according to Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office news release. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Airport Security Unit launched an investigation in July after becoming aware of suspicious activity at the Destin-Fort Walton Beach Airport. A traveler reported her luggage, which contained items worth more than $1,600, had never arrived at her destination. Her luggage was listed as lost or stolen. However, the victim said an Apple AirTag in her suitcase last showed as active in Mary Esther. Another traveler reported more than $15,000 in jewelry and other items had been taken from his luggage on August 9th, and investigators discovered DeLuca's residence after cross-referencing airport employees who lived in the area. While at his home August 10, deputies recovered the items reported missing on August 9. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, DeLuca also admitted to rummaging through the first victim's suitcase and removing an Apple AirTag. The sheriff's office said her belongings have not been recovered. Okay, that stuff can be, like, pawned really quickly. So, TSA aside, you know, here's an example of why you don't give a 19-year-old, you know, $100,000 in student debt. They're just not mature enough for it. This is where I think a lot of countries have a great idea that you have to do some sort of civil work for a year or two between the high school and college area. Some countries require military service. Some require, I don't know, just something. But it gives you a chance to, I don't know, grow up and mature, so that you're not a 19-year-old stealing the very item that's going to get you busted. Because he obviously, I mean, if he was smart, he would have looked at that AirTag and said, "Ooh, this just looks bad. This is just a bad idea. Let's not take the tag that'll get me busted." Why must you do this? Let's see. Oh, look, a scammer, lost children scam woman via Venmo for $1,000. Yeah, whoops. Let's see. Oh, we heard about the confused elderly woman who drives the SUV around the second floor of the Massachusetts Mall. Man, you had the perfect opportunity to create some serious havoc, and you stopped. And I'm disappointed. Oh, how about a double whammy? This is coming out of Texas. Not that I'm a big fan of rappers, right? Most of the time, these are just egotistical morons with no marketable skill. And yet we can, the stupid people continue to make the stupid person famous. There we go. Coming out of trends.vegas, I guess. Yep, admin. I don't know who admin is, but admin wrote this particular article. U.S. Marshals find illegal tiger cub in home of Dallas rapper while serving arrest warrant. Here's another Mensa reject. Good God, these people are just disgusting. U.S. Marshals found a baby tiger living inside the home of a Dallas rapper. When they went to the musicians, he's not a musician, he's a rapper. Can you please, work on your hierarchy? There's rapper, there's trash, and there's music. Went to the musician's residence to serve an arrest warrant, Wednesday, report said. The furry cub was allegedly being kept by Devarius Dantes Moore, who goes by the hip-hop name Trap Boy Freddy. What? Who was wanted on charges of possessing a firearm as a felon. So here we go. He's already a felon, so is that a prerequisite to being a rapper? I get it. Rap sheet. That's how they came up with rapper. Moore, genius at 30, made a little secret of his wild pet as he posted, he made no secret of his wild pet, as he posted pictures of himself with what appeared to be the tiger cub on his Instagram account in June. The feline was seized by law enforcement after Moore was taken into custody by marshals. It was not clear if the hip-hopper, who was known for such songs as Von Dutch, what? And Innocent. You're not innocent, you're a felon. Would be charged with keeping the tiger, which is illegal in Dallas. The creature has been turned... Don't you know it? Didn't you learn anything from Joe Exotic, your boyfriend over there? Dante. What was your name? A loser. Davarius Dantes Moore. Not clear. Would be charged with keeping the tiger, which is illegal. The creature has been turned over to Dallas Animal Services, which said it was being kept at an undisclosed location, but didn't provide additional details, according to the Dallas Morning News. Well, the news of the tiger's discovery spread among neighbors and eventually led to online rumors that a tiger was loose in South Dallas. The Dallas Zoo, located in the same part of town where the exotic cat was found, ended up having to calm fears that one of its tigers was loose as false information spread online because of felonious, brain-dead morons like this guy. I hope they just bury him under the prison. We want to assure everyone our tigers are all accounted for and safe here at the zoo, the Dallas Zoo tweeted after getting calls from concerned residents who are too stupid to realize that it's some crack-smoking felon that other people have decided to call a rapper. I should take a break soon before I lose my cool. Because, I just spent a lot of time. It takes me 2 hours to get ready to do a voice and pin show, all right? So I'm at the club by 4 o'clock. So that when the musicians start showing up at 6, in theory, the stage is set. Not just set, it's clean. There's not cables running everywhere like you in some karaoke nonsense. Nah, this is a professional arrangement, man. I've been doing this 50 years, man. Well, 40. At least 40, 45, 44, something like that. I've been doing this a minute. And these people put in a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of practice. And then some rapper comes along and pushes a button. Oh, check me out. I'm going to say the N-word 500 times. I'm a felon. I'm a felon and I steal stuff and I have a gun. And not only that, I have an illegal tiger in my house that I can't care for because I can't care for myself because I'm always smoking crack. Yeah, I don't like rappers. For the most part. Now, we had a hip-hop night and I got to meet some real people doing some productive work. And what's interesting is there was not a lot of derogatory lyrics in these things, right? There wasn't a lot of N-word or shoot the police or anything stupid like that. These were one of the cool things about voice and pen and original music in general is that you get a chance to listen. Something new, something raw, something real. And there is a parallel from what I saw in these accounts that we have people that this is coming to us as their first time and performing in front of people. And their lyrics are about experiencing life. And when we had our hip-hop night, the lyrics were pretty much the same. And even if you can't sing, you can do that. So there is a level of rapping that I find to be difficult to define, but it presents itself quite easily. For example, that moron who's already a felon should not be out there rapping. He should be, picking up trash on the side of the road and then shipped back to the state prison until he serves his time and has a chance to, I don't know, maybe read a book. I hope they bury him under the jail for having the tiger. I hope they feed him to the... Wouldn't that be cool? I'd pay for that. Your sentence is to be fed to the tiger. I'm down with that. You get to fight the full-grown tiger. You can't do it as a cub. You wait till that thing is 500 pounds of killing machine, and then, yeah, we'll have a race. If you win, you go free. Everybody's mad at the FBI right now. But y'all, If the FBI is doing their job, you can't get mad. It's just not fair. It's like getting mad at the police officer for pulling you over for doing 110 in a 55. Ask me how I know. But I didn't get upset with the cop. He's doing his job. I'm like, good job. You know, congratulations, you got me. Yeah, it's no big deal. Oh, come on. Now you're going to tell me that this page doesn't exist? Come on, Keith. You're supposed to vet your stuff, dude. Oh, this is brutal. I can't even get this one open. The headline is ripping good, but they've taken it down. Oh, you can't pick on the FBI, even if they do something stupid. Apparently, the former FBI agent sentenced for gambling away government cash in Las Vegas. I want to look it up. I might have to do that on break if I don't have a guest. Okay, I don't want to even go there. Oh! Some of you may know that I've done ground school and have a lot of interest in aviation and aeronautics. So this particular story by Tamara Hardingham Gill from CNN is going to light you up. It lit me up. Plane failed to descend as pilots reportedly fell asleep during the flight. Whoops. 2 pilots are believed to have fallen asleep and missed their landing during a flight from Sudan to Ethiopia on Monday, according to a report by commercial aviation news site Aviation Herald. The incident took place on board an Ethiopia Airlines Boeing 737-800 en route from Khartoum to Addis Ababa, the report said, when the pilots fell asleep and the aircraft continued past the top of descent. Data obtained by the website indicates that the craft was cruising at 37,000 feet on autopilot when it failed to descend at Addis Ababa Bole International Airport, its scheduled destination on August 15. Air traffic control were apparently unable to reach the crew despite making several attempts at contact. However, an alarm was triggered when the plane overshot the runway and continued along the route. The aircraft subsequently began to descend, landed safely around 25 minutes later. Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast, ADSB, data shows the aircraft overflying the runway before beginning its descent and maneuvering for another approach. Ethiopian Airlines issued a statement. On Friday, we have received a report which indicates Ethiopian flight number ET343 en route from Khartoum to Addis Ababa temporarily lost communication with Addis Ababa Air Traffic Control on 15 August 22. The flight later landed safely after communication was restored. The concerned crew have been removed from operation pending further investigation. Appropriate corrective action will be taken based on the outcome of the investigation. Safety has always been and will continue to be our first priority, the statement said. Maybe for the company, but not for the pilot. Like, normally on long flights, y'all take turns. The pilots take turns. Yes, it's boring as sin. Once you're, the exciting part of flying is getting up in the air and getting back down on the ground. The rest of it can literally be programmed into the airplane. So if you're flying a 14-hour leg or a 14-hour journey, it will locate and fly from waypoint to waypoint all on its own. You just have to tell them what the waypoints are. It knows where they are. You just have to tell them which ones on your route do you need to fly over. You program all 15, 20 of those in there, and the plane will continue to make appropriate left turns, right turns, etc., to get you to that destination. Then, when you get to the top of your glide slope for the ILS approach to land at your favorite airport, that's when it gets exciting. Deeply concerning. That's the name of this section. Aviation analyst Alex Macheras has since taken to Twitter to express his shock at the deeply concerning incident, which he suggests may have been the result of pilot exhaustion. Or boredom. I mean, come on, man, take a crossword with you. Pilot fatigue is nothing new and continues to pose one of the most significant threats to air safety internationally, he tweeted. The report comes just months after pilots at Southwest Airlines and Delta Airlines warned airline executives that pilot exhaustion was on the rise and urged them to treat fatigue and the resulting mistakes as a safety risk. Fatigue, both acute and cumulative, has become Southwest Airlines' number one safety threat, the Southwest Airlines Pilot Association, or SWAPA, told airline executives in a letter back in April. According to the letter, the rising demand for air travel as the industry begins to bounce back from the COVID-19 pandemic and cancellation chaos brought about by severe weather were among the reasons for the increase in pilot exhaustion. Back in May, Italian newspaper Repubblica, there's two B's in it, I don't know how to say it, reported that an ITA pilot had been fired after falling asleep during a flight between New York and Rome. The co-pilot was said to be taking an authorized rest at the time, leading to the Airbus A330 losing communication with air traffic control for 10 minutes, according to the report. Oh, that's it. No, that's not fair. If you're flying from New York to Rome, that's like a 12-hour flight or an 8-hour flight. And one of the pilots that I know that does international flights on 747s is like, yeah, we have a 3-man crew and the 2 guys in the front, right? Left seat, right seat. Right seat gets it up in the air, left seat gets it set. Left seat takes a nap, right seat flies, and then left seat comes back. Right seat takes a nap while left seat flies. Right seat comes back, and then they flip a coin, I guess, on who's going to land the plane. So technically, I mean, they even have a bed there, right? They have it's not like it's going to be your luxurious at-home Sealy Posturepedic, but it's a place for you to get a little nap, get a little shut-eye on your 14-hour flight, because this cat is, the guy I know, flying to Singapore and whatever else that, yeah, you're going to need a nap. I do not want my pilot flying 14 hours and then trying to land a plane. Let him get a nap and then land the plane. Oh, yeah. I don't even know what am I playing? Okay. So with that in mind, we'll be right back after these messages right here at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Don't go nowhere. If you do, go to the website, download the app for the Android, iOS devices, and we'll see you in a minute.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. In Pender County, Surf City police are asking the public to be on the lookout for a suspect they say is armed and dangerous. According to police, the man is wanted in connection to a death investigation. The incident happened last night near the Exotic Hemp Company on Charlie Medlin Drive. The man is described as 5'8", about 25 years old, last seen wearing blue shorts and a black backpack. If you have any information, you should contact the Surf City Police Department or call 911. President Joe Biden has announced thousands of dollars in student loan debt cancellation, leading to mixed reaction across the country. Only those making less than $125,000 a year will qualify for loan forgiveness. Up to $20,000 worth of debt will be forgiven for students who received a Pell Grant. Up to $10,000 will be forgiven for those who did not. Representative David Rouser released a statement about the plan, saying in part, quote, "Student debt doesn't automatically disappear no matter how much debt President Biden unilaterally decides the federal government will forgive. His action rewards a few at the expense of all others, incentivizes students not to pay off any student debt in the future, will increase college tuition and other fees even more, and add to inflation as well." And a new TV show filmed here in the Cape Fear is now the #1 program on Netflix. According to the streaming platform, Echoes is a mystery thriller about 2 identical twins who share a dangerous secret. Since they were kids, the twins have secretly swapped lives, culminating in a double life as adults. It was shot in the Port City and stars Michelle Monaghan, best known for her roles in TV shows like HBO's True Detective, Netflix's Messiah, and Hulu's The Path. For more on these stories, you can head on over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Mostly cloudy skies in store for us once again, but a few peaks of sunshine will allow our temperatures to climb into the middle and upper 80s. Inland of the coast, low to middle 80s will do it for high temperatures for coastal areas today. And we're looking at a good deal of dry time on this Thursday with a few showers sticking around this afternoon. Heading into the overnight hours, still not going to rule out any isolated downpours as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
This week on All Things Brunswick, we're welcoming special guest Danny Ricciani to discuss being a gay conservative in today's environment and many other topics. All Things Brunswick, 6 p.m. Tuesdays, right here on the Big Talker Network.
Really? Yeah, it's a sacrifice I make for you. Because it's not very good on my body. Oh, man. All right. Dumping massive amounts of caffeine into my system to get by. Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit the Big Talker website, download the app for Android, iOS devices, then Bluetooth your smart device with your automotive entertainment system. Take the Big Talker anywhere, everywhere you want to go. Peruse our schedule of content so you can see when and where your favorite show will air on our nifty app. Right there on the app, you can go back to any of the shows you may have missed and say, hey, look, I can just click on that, watch the video, listen to the pod. Oh, it's all kind of cool. I'm hoping I have a guest, a friend on that's going to help extend the energy of this show this morning, because obviously I am not running at 100%. But I would like to say, if we are to put in some new rules, I think there should be some new rules for candidates. Man, I'm just hanging on. All right, new rule. As a candidate, you are automatically disqualified for candidacy if you refer to anyone by a derogatory term. DeSantis calling Fauci an elf? Oh, you go at it there, Mr. Mensa. I'm getting tired of this crap. This is, because, I don't know what DeSantis' legal crap is about or any of the, I don't care. But you're an adult, for Christ's sake. If you don't like Fauci, don't like him for a reason. But calling him a name like an elf, really? That's just another Trump move. Is that how politics is going to run from now on? We're just going to call each other names? and the one with the best name calling is the one who gets elected? Is that how it's going to be, Mr. Pocahontas guy? I'm not a candidate, so I can call the Orange Man bad. Orange Man is a horrible human being. A lot of them are. Most of them are. I don't care if you're red, blue, green, purple hippopotamus. If you're there for your own performative BS, looking at you, Green Bobrick Gates. Thank God we got rid of Cawthorn, but we don't seem to have enough adults in the United States to figure this out. If they behave like a 4-year-old on the playground, calling people names, taunting, and that kind of crap, they are not mature enough to be in office. They are certainly, that's the lawyer I would not want on my team if I needed a lawyer. I mean, that's one of the, maybe it's just me. Maybe it was a personal goal to not get in the type of trouble where I'm going to need a lawyer or 50. I mean, how many lawyers has Trump himself gone through in the last, 10 years?
And these are nothing but the best lawyers, the smartest lawyers, the best people. We got the best words.
Can we stop with the playground crap?
That little elf.
Well, I tell you what, DeSantis, that little elf has forgotten more. I mean, his education is going to dwarf, and I shouldn't say forgot anymore, because you're going to jump on that like, yeah, because he's old and he has his senile, and yeah, because you don't have a frickin' clue. It's not like you've had to, study. My father was a doctor. He saved thousands of veterans' lives. What have you done, DeSantis? Caused problems and called people names. I don't know if you really have the... To me, you do not deserve the respect that you seem to command. But very few of them do. Mostly because, I mean, think about it. What's the first thing your elected official does when they get into office? It's not working on your behalf. No. You just go back in time, 50, 60 years, and you'll find that these people are way more interested in their campaign and their financial situation than they are anything about you. The very first thing they do when they get into office is they start campaigning and raising money for the next election. And if I'm wrong, I will eat my hat. But I think my guest, thank goodness he's here, because I'm not going to hold out much longer. Mr. Andrew Donaldson from ordinary-times.com has joined us. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm hurt. It was a good night last night. I got to say, it was a lot of fun. We had a blast, but man, it takes a lot out of this old guy.
Yeah, well, you're an old hippie. You got to pace yourself.
Yeah, but it's worth it. I mean, these kids, I can call them kids because I'm a lot older than they are. But man, they are just delivering like.
Aren't they good?
Oh.
They're so good. I haven't had a chance. We had open house, and I took the kids out to dinner last night, so I haven't had a chance to watch it. Usually, I watch it live while I'm doing other stuff, and I'll listen to it while I'm, doing whatever in the evenings. But we had open house for school, and then I took the kids out for dinner for after, so I didn't watch it live last night. I'll watch it today while I'm doing stuff. But it is always so good. That's why we're happy to have it on the station, and we're happy to promote it, and I'm happy to tell people about it. It's a ton of fun.
It is, and that's why I'm a little low on energy on Thursday mornings. But my rant, I don't know if you heard any of that going into it, but it just seems counterproductive to elect people who are more interested in being elected than they are in doing any damn thing to help us or to be effective for their constituents when the first thing they do when they get into office is raise money and try to get elected again.
Yeah, well, this is learned behavior that we've tolerated. We've tolerated this for so long from our politicians that the learned behavior they have is that they're going to get away with doing this because we put up with it. So until we start smacking a few of them hard enough that they learn not to do it, they're going to keep acting like this. But we're so apathetic to what we actually want as long as we get our ears tickled and they occasionally do something we want them to do that we tolerate this stuff. So the blame ain't all on them. It's on us. We have representative government. So our government is basically a mirror on what we actually care about. And we don't like what we see in it, then the problem isn't the mirror. The problem is us, because they can only reflect what we put in there. And that's the truth of it.
That explains a lot. Now that, with that set of lenses, right, with that lens here, then we can look at DeSantis's latest little gaffe in referring to Dr. Fauci as that little elf.
Hold on. That's no gaffe. That's planned. Let me stop you real quick.
Okay.
That's not a gaffe. That's strategy. That's planned. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to pick on you. But
No. I need the correction. I'm an idiot.
Lovable idiot. Let's not go too far here.
Okay.
I love you. I'm kidding. No, this is very much, and it's so planned that it's starting to come off cringy. Like we're going to throw the elf across the Potomac. That's not a line off the top of his head. He went to Harvard. That's not how he talks.
Okay, so he is a lawyer.
He planned that. Yeah, he's an Ivy League educated guy. He planned that line. It's like the Top Gun ad he put out earlier in the week. He plans. This is all part of a plan to attract a certain segment of the voting population that really wants talk like that. Because, so it's not a gaffe. It's an out and out strategy.
But we try to nip this in the bud in the playground of elementary schools. How did it get past an Ivy League educated lawyer to behave like a 4-year-old on a playground?
Because that's what's getting. Because what did I just say? Learned behavior.
So how do we stop that?
What's getting him attention? What's getting him fundraising money? What's getting him a whole lot of talk about running for president himself? What's getting him all the accolades from right leaning and conservative? I just talked about this guy yesterday with somebody. Because we were I can't divulge it, but there's a group that if I said their name, you know it, and they were looking for a speaker and they needed an emergency speaker, and they reached out and like, would you do this? And it's a group that is very much aligned with President Trump and with and it was about Ron DeSantis, and that's the topic they wanted a speaker on. And he's like, I know this isn't your thing, but it was going to be in the Raleigh area. Is why he reached out to me. He's like, I know it's not your thing, but I know you can work through it. You can make it work. Would you do it for me? And I'm like, well, that group's on my no list, but I'll do it for you as a favor. So just let me know. And then it turned out they worked it out where I didn't have to do it, but I would have done it for him as a favor. But that was what they wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about, is Ron DeSantis the next Trump? Which, number one, is a stupid premise because there's never going to be another Trump. Quit chasing another
Thank
Trump.
God.
But Ron DeSantis is very much tooling himself to do some of the Trumpisms and Trump mannerisms to try to present himself as that, even though that's not what he really is. So, but every time he does it, he's getting seal claps. And every time he does it, he gets more fundraising. And every time he does it, he's getting more and more attention on the national level to try to become president after Charlie Crist won the Democratic primary. He's going to beat Charlie Crist pretty easily in his reelection campaign. So keep an eye on DeSantis because he's looking at higher office. And every time he does this, people like you and me sit around and talk about him. It's learn. What did I start out talking about?
How do we
learn behavior?
Because it's important behavior that you wouldn't tolerate this in your own child.
No, but I can discipline my child.
So
we have
how
to collectively
do we discipline?
decide
Right? What's
the money? You quit giving them money, attention, and positions of power, but we're not interested in that. I've got the empirical evidence that we don't care how we're governed until it hurts us personally, financially, or hurts our feelings. Then we care about it for about 5 seconds, and then we go back to not caring about it. I've got 240 years of U.S. history backing up my position. You bring whatever you want.
That's why I'm here. I don't know. I have nothing to bring.
That's my point. This is 100% on us. If you don't like your government, because here's the thing, we talk about. I've reached out to a guy who's in media. We're going to do a herd tell on media. I've tried really hard to stop saying the media as a pejorative because it doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't. And we're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of it.
The fact that the word has become it's almost like gay. Gay has meant happy for centuries, and then one day we can't use the term anymore. But I'm fine with that. Here's the thing with the media thing.
Are you talking news media? Are you talking print media? Are you talking commentary media? Are you talking about mass media? Are you talking about radio, TV, multi-platform, what we do here? The term is way broader than that. So I try to say, well, the news media does this, or the commentary, it does this, because those are two very different things, even though they inhabit the same space and sometimes are on the same channels at the same time. They're two very different things. The problem is we talk, well, the government's doing it. We just did this with the student loan debate yesterday. The government is going to forgive this debt. Hold on a second. What's the government?
Us.
The government is not a thing. It's an institution full of people. The government has no money. Okay, let's do some basic civics real quick. The government is not spending government money to forgive student loan debt. The government is spending taxpayers' money to forgive student debt of some taxpayers. See how different that is when you just change the nomenclature?
And
the government has no money. There is no money in the United States government. The United States government has our money. So everything they spend our money on is still our money they're spending, but they don't want to talk about that because you need the cognitive dissonance to not care about all those billions and trillions of dollars. So it's, well, the government's funding this. Government funding. If we banned the word government funding and made them put taxpayer funded for every time they put government funded, boy, we could change a whole lot of things in a great big hurry. But we don't do that. Why don't we do that? Lazy politics. Because we don't want to be personally invested to the point that we have to care. We want it to be a spectator sport. And as long as it's just team red and team blue on the field, and we can sit in the field and we can yell at the TV like we do at a football game and clap our little hands and eat our little drinks and wear our little team jerseys and yell at the other team and and nobody gets hurt because that's all fine for most of middle class and up America, and it never affects them. That's what they want. That's how they want politics to be. But that's not what politics is. Politics is the working in, the grinding, cutting, the not to be blunt about it, but everybody wants the cowboy until it's nut cutting time, right? And you got to hold the steer down and get to business. Like, you can't just wear the hats and the chaps and the ropes. You got to do the job at some point. We want politics to be this nice, sterilized, simonized, sanitized, righteousized, whatever thing that just is in a vacuum to entertain us and occasionally gives us a check in the mail. And that's not what it is. It's a machine. And it's absolutely grinding up people right now because the people that can control it, the middle class and up, which is what politics pays attention to, doesn't care enough to make the machine work for everybody. They just want the machine to work for them.
Man,
I'm fired up this morning because I'm already ticked off about something I can't talk about yet because I got to write the piece and pitch it. But
okay, I'm totally fair. But
and it's niche. It's for something in West Virginia that people in Wilmington do not care one little. You know what? Screw this. No, let's talk about this.
All right.
In the 6 minutes I got left. So downtown Charleston, West Virginia, there's the big mall downtown. Was called Town Center Mall. It was a downtown mall when they built the thing in the late 70s, early 80s. I believe it was the biggest mall east of the Mississippi at the time. Really nice facility. When I was a kid, going to Charleston Town Center Mall was a big freaking deal.
We're going to the big city.
But it really was. It was attached to the Civic Center. So anytime you went to a show or something at the Civic Center, you would usually park at the mall, walk through the mall, and go to the Civic Center because it's all attached, right?
Man, yeah.
Because the Civic Center has one parking. The Civic Center had one parking garage, and Town Center has two parking garages. So you usually parked at Town Center, and then we'd walk through the mall and go into because there was a
Cinnabon on the way.
There was a breeze. Oh no, we weren't even that high. You had an Annie's pretzel and whatever. But anyway,
okay.
But there was like a breezeway thing, and you could walk straight over to the Civic Center, and of course you could beg and plead to go in KB Toys and get something. But that's how we always went to the Civic Center. We'd park at Town Center and then walk to the Civic Center. So it's been in disrepair for many, many years. It's almost empty. The biggest leasee of it is the state of West Virginia because they put the DMV in one of the old department stores and part of the tax office and some other stuff. So it's been in decline. This is a 3-story facility. Like, this is a big thing sitting right smack in the middle of downtown. So the new plan is, and they announced it yesterday, they're going to do a public-private partnership jointly between the city and Kanawha County. Kanawha County is the counties, Charleston's the city. Charleston's the capital city of West Virginia. And they're going to build one of these great big sports complexes in it. And they're already starting the line, and I'm going to write this up because I almost covered it for her telling, and I let it go. So I've got this research already done. So that's why I was so fired up the second I read it. And they're going to build this big sports facility, and they're going to get all this travel team sports money in.
West
Sounds
Virginia
great,
has a team?
right? Well, no, this is to get tourist dollars because the multi-billion-dollar sports traveling industry. Okay.
No.
Where you have travel baseball and travel football and travel soccer and travel
You mean
whatever.
Just like hiring a band, you promote
it's one of the fastest growing. Yeah, it's one of the fastest growing because everybody thinks their little kid's going to be in the NFL or the NBA or whatever. So they put them on these travel teams, and you pay exorbitant amount of money to put them on these teams, and they travel around and play the other teams that are spending exorbitant amount of money on little Johnny and little Susie, who are, by the way, statistically never going to even make it to the collegiate level, let alone the pro level. But it's a massive multi-billion-dollar industry that's growing because we're sports obsessed.
Wow.
Here's the problem. And I'm going to be careful when I do this because I've already reached out to one guy in West Virginia. I'm like, put me on the radio on this because I'm going to be one of 3 people against it. I'll give you some ratings. Here's the problem. I think they should build this facility. I do. I think it's a good idea. It's a good repurposing because they're going to take down one of the parking garages. It's basically empty, and they're going to take down the old Macy's. And they're going to have like an indoor running track, and it's going to have indoor, outdoor facilities and multiple basketball courts. And like, it's going to be a great facility. But do not build this facility chasing outside the state dollars. Build the facility, scale it down a little bit, build it for the people of Charleston and Kanawha County and West Virginia. And this is the capital of West Virginia. So let's be honest, this would be for the greater state as well, even though it's a city and county project. Scale it down and build it so that it is financially feasible for the city as it exists right now. Then you can chase the other money. What they're pitching them is the exact same scam that pro sports teams use to get their stadiums. Oh, it's going to bring in all this extra economic dollars. It's going to bring in all this money. It's going to bring in all these tourists. Don't build it chasing that, because here's what's going to happen. We got data on this. Okay. Here's your problem. Every small to mid-sized city in America has got the exact same plan, is getting pitched the exact same thing. Spend billions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars on these facilities, and these sports teams are going to come in. The problem is there's only so many sports teams, and every small to mid-sized city in America is doing this. There was a huge expose in Washington Post about 2 weeks ago, and I almost covered it on Her Telling, and I let it go, but I've still got all the research on it, so we're going to do this. The problem is, and they were using Indianapolis as an example. These suburb cities outside Indianapolis build it, and it goes great for a year or two. But then the problem is the other suburban city, 6 miles away, they build the newer, bigger one 3 years later. So now everybody's going there instead of this one. So now they hire this outside consultant, and these big conglomerate companies are starting to buy up these public-private partnership built facilities and taking them over and running them, because after 3 or 4 years, the shine's off, the travel teams go to the new, bigger one at some other place. Because, by the way, your little places in Charleston, West Virginia, and Indianapolis for these travel teams, you're not competing with other small cities. You're competing with Vegas and Myrtle Beach and California and Texas. That's who you're competing against. You're competing against Myrtle Beach. You're competing against Vegas. Where's the parents going to want to go? You see what I'm getting at? So after the first couple of years, and this happened out in Indianapolis, this is in the Washington Post, and this is going to happen in Charleston and all these other small cities. After the first couple of years, the new wears off and the travel teams stop coming, and now you've got this massive outlay that you can't afford as a city. So then you sell it and sell the rights to it off to these conglomerates who say, well, we have the networks to bring in the travel teams, and you'll sign these contracts, and we'll bring in and the travel teams will come back. And the desperate cities sign the contracts. The problem is you're still on the hook for all that infrastructure, and after 5 years, now you got to repair it. After 10 years, you got to start replacing the sports fields and the facilities. After 20 years, you may have to replace the entire thing. You have a massive albatross on these cities that is never going to go away, is only going to get more expensive, and is going to get a reduction in its usage. Do you see the financial problem here? Plus, let's get real quick. Go ahead and get mad, send your letters. You're building a multiple $1-million facility aimed at the middle class and up, while the parts of your city that are not middle class and up are continuing to suffer and aren't getting revitalized and aren't getting revitalization money because they're not political feasibly. So meanwhile, while downtown Charleston gets this nice upline, Dunbar, the East End, Kanawha City, heck, the entire Upper Kanawha Valley that's just got flooded out and is going to be struggling to get money. We've got an opioid crisis. You think $800 million couldn't put a dent in the opioid crisis? We have a non-functional CPS system. You think we could put some money maybe into that? We have one of the worst school systems in America. We have infrastructure that is subpar. I talked to, I had John W. Miller on my show. He joked about it. He goes, man, I was in Ethiopia and I had Wi-Fi and broadband everywhere I go. I go 20 minutes outside of Charleston, West Virginia. I can't get a cell signal.
Man.
You don't think we got infrastructure?
Now,
broadband is the one thing really holding West Virginia back for all these, remote workers. They would pile into West Virginia if you get some broadband. But no, we're going to tickle the ears of the middle class and up, the people that do most of the voting and most of the political donating and most of the powers that be, because all the power brokers are in Charleston, and they're going to do this. And then 5 years from now, it's going to be a mess. And 10 years from now, it's going to be a disaster. And 20 years from now, it's just going to be the town center all over again.
So when looking at the reality of these, because I'm not even aware of this traveling team thing.
I'll send you the link. It's going to tick you off when you read it.
There can't be more than 20, 30 teams total?
Oh, by the way, this is the city that 20 years ago couldn't figure out how to build a regional airport, and everybody threw a fit because Yeager Airport's on top of a mountain. There's literally nowhere else to expand because it's on. They flattened two mountains and filled in between the two mountains and built the airport up on top of the hill. There's literally you cannot put anything else up there.
Not without building another mountain. So
about 20, that's more than 20, probably 25, 30 years ago now, they said, we're going to go down the valley between Charleston and Huntington, the two major cities in America, or in West Virginia. 60% of the state population lives within those two areas. We're going to pick some nice flat land, and we're going to build a big regional airport between the two. And everybody lost their freaking minds. You can't build a new airport. You can't take it away from Charleston. So now you got a subpar airport. This is the environment because they could have done this crap. They never, ever, ever get their crap together on this stuff. One day, West Virginia will learn that we need to quit chasing outside dollars to fix our problems and just fix our own problems and quit waiting on the outside savior to do it. But that day is clearly not going to be the day. Okay, end of rant. I'm sorry.
So how many events would they actually have in this?
They don't know. They're putting all these nice charts up. It could be 2 a year or it
could be 20 a year. There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee to any of this.
Now, can you do it with something else?
You're getting sold a unicorn wrangle.
Can I put Metallica in there on a Thursday night?
No, well, you could put them in. You could probably get them in Coliseum. The Coliseum's too small probably for Metallica. I doubt they can play it.
So, but this
we always had to go to Pittsburgh to see Metallica. Hey, listen, I grew up here. We had to go to Pittsburgh to see Metallica. Let's be real.
But I'm trying to figure out if this is only.
Ask me how I know that.
Because you've been there.
Yeah.
But I mean, how much? Is it supposed to be multi-facility, or is this specifically for sports?
Oh, no. They're building it to attract these sports teams. That's how they're pitching it.
So that's going to be the only income revenue generation source.
That's why I'm arguing build it scaled down, build it financially feasible so that the current population can support it as it is.
And use it
and
for
make
other
that the
stuff.
Bonus. Yeah, and make that the bonus on top of it because now you got a revenue stream. You're doing it backwards. You're chasing a revenue stream that is not going to be sustainable and building a facility to chase an unsustainable revenue stream, and the city's going to get left on the city and the county, excuse me, because it's a joint project, they're going to get left on the hook for it.
And it would make more sense if they were to build a multi-purpose facility that you could hold a wedding, you could hold
this thing's going to be cool. It's going to be great for the citizens of Charleston, but you got to pay for it and you got to upkeep it and you got to maintain it. Meanwhile, you got so much blight on the East End that they're trying to work out a federal grant to mass demolish houses in one fell swoop because they can't afford to demolish the houses. Hello?
All they need is Niedermeyer.
Newman, hello?
They just need Herman, what was his name, Niemeyer? The dude, Killdozer? You remember that story? The guy. No,
it's a good plan. I apologize. I can't remember the one of the House of Delegates. He put together a deal. He's like, look, we can mass demolish. I forget the number. It was hundreds of houses. It's like we're going to pay this company one block grant to demolish all the houses, and it would be 40% the normal cost of doing it house. It was actually a good plan. He actually did some legislating. He's like, look, it's too expensive. We're gonna pay a block grant from the state to this company to demolish all of these bad houses in one fell swoop. I mean, it would take them a year or two, but you pay for it at one time.
Right.
Good plan, because once the blight's cleared, then you can't develop anything until it's cleared off, and clearing it off costs money. So good plan. He's like, look, this is going to save a lot of money. I think it was 40% the cost of doing it as a block grant. It was like 40% of what it would have cost previously. And this was statewide. This was all through the state. You got places in West Virginia. You got like downtown areas in these small towns where the buildings have been empty longer than they had tenants.
Wow. And they're just sitting there.
They're just sitting there. So, you could clear this stuff out and do some developing.
I'm getting flashbacks.
Anyway, I'll stop ranting about West Virginia because nobody cares. But but listen, they're going to do this to every city in America, like, because it's the public-private spigot that these developers want to get on the hook, and they sell this. They tickle the ears of the taxpayers with this unicorn dream, and it never pans out. Do it scaled down. Do it on a scale where it is sustainable for the population of Charleston and Kanawha County to support it, which there is a need for sports stuff. Shawnee Park down the road does good business. And if you move that downtown, you could get some revitalization in downtown. So yeah, it would be like when I was a kid. You do walk through the mall to get to the sports event. Like you go to the state tournament in the Civic Center, you walk through the mall. So you stop and eat dinner or whatever. That's all valid. But don't build it for this unicorn herd that's roaming around out there somewhere, and that you're never going to have a sustainable income stream to upkeep this thing. Build it for Charleston, for the citizens of Charleston. And then if you get the outside travel teams, fantastic. But you're selling people unicorn poop as ice cream.
Okay. Now, so this is me thinking in terms of, if I'm going to put a multi-million-dollar building anywhere, I want to keep it employed as much as I can. Like the Brooklyn Arts Center here in Wilmington, it hosts everything from weddings to Cucaloris events. They try to keep that thing busy 5-6 days a week.
And again, this is going to be connected, like, easy walking distance to the Charleston Civic Center and Coliseum. Coliseum seats 13,000, I think. For like basketball, like, concert, it's a little less. It's like, 10 or 11,000 for a concert, a little bit less if you do it in a round. This is in the round, of course. It's, I think you can do 13,000 for a basketball court because you can pull all the seats down. I think it's like 10 or 11,000 for concerts. Pro wrestling, it's like 9,000 because you got to take the whole end off to do the staging areas. Decent size arena. That's a good size arena.
Yeah.
And then they have convention halls. There's what's called the small theater in there, which seats like 600 or 700. That's also a concert venue. That's all attached. And then they have the convention center. So they can do, they have the boat show, they have the home show, they have the gun shows, they have the wedding. They actually do have a wedding show every year that does big business. That's all attached to the, again, the mall area is all right there. So the theory is fine. The problem is scale. Scale it down and make it for a city of 600,000 people of, let's be honest, it's not the richest city in America. Build it for the people there. Don't build it for these travel teams because you're chasing something you're never going to catch.
That makes sense. And if you are, I would still contend that no matter what you build it so that it's going to be employed.
Does
that make sense? Because even if you rent it out for
I got to get off. Yeah, I got to get off this because I got to go do other stuff. But they revitalized part of Charleston downtown about 15, 20 years ago. What's called Capitol Street, which used to be just terribly downright. They've rebuilt it, and COVID hit it pretty hard. But it seems that I was just down there because I did radio at WCHS, and me and Coop went down. Go down Capitol Boulevard and go get some food. Because that's where all the restaurants are. Because, that's walkable for all the office buildings, right? It's a walkable street of restaurants and pubs and bars and stuff because that's where the office people all pile in. They can all walk out of the office, go down there, have their power lunches, go back to the office, right? That's that area.
Perfect. Yeah.
So they revitalized all of that. Now that's, 12, 13 blocks away from where we're talking about the Civic Center. But again, the mall and the Civic Center are right beside each other, and then you got the big Marriott Hotel right across the street, and then Embassy Suites is right catty corner to that. So when you have an event, you have a band in town, you have an event in town, you have a convention in town, whatever. This area needs to be developed because that's where everybody's going to be at. Okay? Because if you got a big concert, everybody going to the Civic Center. The mall, town center is right beside it. It's between You can actually walk because of the breezeways. You can walk from the big Marriott through the mall to the Civic Center. That's how it was designed to be do, which was a good design, by the way, because you don't have to go down to the street level. You can walk across all the way across, and the same from the parking garages.
In air conditioned.
Well, no, it's a breezeway, but you're out of the elements mostly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But so putting a sports center right there makes all the sense in the world.
But not
because because we already have, you have the hotel's already attached, the Civic Center's already attached, all the restaurants around there, the mall. You could revitalize the rest of the mall that's still going to be standing and put more stores in that. Plan's fine. The pitch is a lie. Make it for the citizens of Charleston. Don't make it for these travel teams because you're chasing a unicorn herd. And guess what happens when you chase a unicorn horde? You never, ever, ever, ever in the history of ever catch it.
And you spend a lot of money doing it and wasting a lot of time.
You're going to spend 4 times the money you spend doing it, keeping it up, because now you're saddled with it. And you're going to be saddled with it in perpetuity. And the Town Center Mall that was so great in the 80s and is now an absolute albatross on the city, this is going to be the new Town Center Mall in 20-25 years. Because you're spending massive amounts of money to upkeep it, and you're going to have to rebuild it, and you're going to have to revitalize it again, and you're not going to have those travel teams. Because Huntington's going to build one, Cincinnati's going to build one, Louisville's going to build one, Ashland's going to build one. Every city in America is doing. Yeah. Every city in America is doing this. And let me repeat that. Every city in America is doing this. You better plan accordingly.
Man, that's. Whew. I don't even want to. Wilmington, just in case those don't realize, the government complex on Government Center Drive was actually a shopping mall. And of course it failed, and all of the spaces that are in there that are being used are actually government buildings. And I think they're getting a new building and moving out of there soon. But it's weird. Yeah. Because it's beautifully designed. You're thinking, man, this would be great to put a retail wait. That's what once it was, and not anymore. And that's why we do this. What a morning.
All right, bro. I'm way over time. I got to go. But great hotel today. We know the student loan thing came down yesterday. We've been waiting on, so we did a review of a couple different people that have been on talking student loans. The great M. Carpenter leads us off, Sean Thema, and then a recap of Flavia Nunez from just last week. She was fantastic, by the way. UNC kid.
Nice.
She's incoming freshman at UNC Chapel Hill. Talks about the process of how you're pressured into doing this. So good perspective all the way around, pro, for, against, and I have to tolerate it because I don't have a choice. So we got it covered on Hertel today. Great episode. The new Hertel podcast, I'm going to work on it today. I've already recorded it with Eric Garcia. He's the congressional reporter for The Independent and an MSNBC contributor. We go behind the scenes on Congress, how the Inflation Reduction Act got passed, Build Back Mansion, whatever you want to call it, some real in-depth stuff. We freaking spoke it into existence, buddy. We recorded this on Tuesday morning, and we were talking about Rick Scott, who's under fire now because he's on a yacht in Italy right now when he's supposed to be out, heading up the fundraising for the Senate Republicans that are getting ready to get their butts kicked.
Oh, that'll upset some Republicans.
We were talking about Rick Scott Tuesday morning, how he was going to be in big, big trouble, and it wasn't 2 hours later that story broke. Mitch McConnell, this leaked. I've got this sourced, by the way. The yacht story was leaked by Mitch McConnell's office because Rick Scott's people had been Rick Scott's people had been sniping at Mitch McConnell's folks because Mitch McConnell was basically like, Rick Scott's screwing this up and we're going to lose the Senate because of Rick Scott. So his people started chirping in the media a little bit. Yeah. So this was Cocaine Mitch letting folks know who was who because the donors aren't happy with Rick Scott. And remember, Rick Scott's got heat because back in the spring, he released that ridiculous manifesto that he thought was going to propel him to become the next presidential nominee because he's an idiot and didn't think that one all the way through. But anyway, yeah, we talked about that on Tuesday morning, recorded it about 10 or 11 o'clock Tuesday morning, and about 2 o'clock that story broke. And Eric was very gracious because he's got a good following, and he taught the reason I bring him on is because when we talk about Joe Manchin, he's like, yeah, well, when I talk to Joe Manchin, because he's there, he talks to Kristen Sinema, he talks to Joe Manchin, he talks to Nancy Pelosi because that's his job. He's there. He was on the floor. He was on the floor of the Senate for the vote of Rama. He was standing there. He knows all the ins and outs. So this is a great deep dive on how the Senate and Congress really works with a really good dude. He also has a great book out on autism called We Are Not Broken. He is autistic himself. The paperback just came out, so we talk about that a little bit too, because some of the headlines are just idiotic. The vaccine nut jobs who have we now have to deal with polio again. Great job, morons. One of the greatest achievements in human history, defeating polio, and because of ignorance and stupidity, we now have to deal with polio again. Because they wanted to pitch people that autism was in the vaccines, like a bunch of morons. So we talk about that a little bit, but I'm just telling you, they ought to pay us, because we know we recorded that at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock that story broke, and I've sourced it not from Eric but from other. I've got multiple sources told me the same story. Mitch McConnell and the donors are code redding Rick Scott because they're going to blame him. Trump's going to blame Mitch, but Mitch is secure. Mitch is immune from Trump. We've already seen that he's immune from Trump criticism. But Mitch McConnell's office took. So Mitch McConnell, as soon as Rick Scott went and got on his yacht in Italy, because remember the recess in Congress right now is for them to all go home and run for re-election. That's where they're all supposed to be right now. He's in charge of it, and he's on a yacht in Italy. So
he's working by remote, man.
One of Mitch's staffers who has a long-running beef with Rick Scott was very happy to remember there's no such thing as a leak. So as soon as that story hit, I went, "Oh, that came from Mitch. Let me reach out real quick." And it wasn't 10 minutes. Like, yeah, that came from Mitch's office.
Nice.
So, and by the way, we talked about
a leak is nothing more than anonymously releasing information.
There is no such thing as a leak.
Right.
But
they'll say it's a leak because they want it to be anonymous.
You don't accidentally talk to a reporter. That doesn't happen. They want it out, so they get it
like
to an outlet. It's like
accidentally having sex. It's just not.
No, you didn't trip and fall and land in the person. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, no.
And by the way, most of these stories,
but people have been tricked by getting drunk in a bar by a reporter, not realizing.
That's a crime. Let's not go into that. But,
okay.
Here, you can also tell, once you do this for a little while, though, let me tell you something. Once you do this for a while, you learn it's not just the stories. Which outlet does it come out in? Because people have their pet outlets they talk to.
Right.
And you can usually learn just guy that I won't reveal his name, guy that was a staffer both in the Senate and the House both, and is now a pretty well-known media commentator. He told me when I first started doing this stuff, he said, don't pay attention to the office holders, pay attention to the staffers and the fundraisers, because they'll tell you where the office holders go on, because they control everything. Staffers know what's going on, and the donors tell them what to do. So watch them two things. And the staffers and the donors have had enough of Rick Scott. So guess what?
That's why the donors put him on a boat in Italy.
So there's 99 senators that all have, multiple vacation homes and sports cars and mistresses and
99
paramours and all this other stuff. Why did this one senator's story come out? Because they wanted it to come out, because they wanted to take him out. They wanted to put him back in his place, and it worked. And he looks like an idiot because now yesterday I can't believe, dude, turn your phone off. So yesterday he's tweeting about the student loan thing, about it being, an attack on working class people, which it kind of is, but everybody and their mother on both sides are like, dude, you're literally tweeting that from a yacht in Italy.
Yeah, tell me about your working class experience there.
It's like, even if I agree with your point, you need to sit this one out, bro.
At least wait until you get back on American soil.
That's why, he didn't. His staffer that's in charge of that didn't have the God's good sense to realize, hey, our cover's blown. We need to lay low for about a week. So Rick, go look up Rick Scott on Twitter. It's the ratio on that is glorious, because he's tweeting about it being an attack on the working class. Like, dude, you're on a yacht in Italy. Shut up. Anyway, I love politics. I got to go. We'll talk soon, bro.
We will. And I'm going to take a break because it's time to pay the news or pay the bills. We're going to take a news and weather break. And when we come... And when we come back, we will have more of the silly news that I can find from around the web that you will not get on any other station, guaranteed. So don't go nowhere as your the refuge in a world gone mad. Be right back. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
This week on All Things Brunswick, we're welcoming special guest Danny Ricciani to discuss being a gay conservative in today's environment and many other topics. All Things Brunswick, 6 p.m. Tuesdays, right here on the Big Talker Network.
Was your home damaged by Hurricane Florence or Matthew? Repair, reconstruct, or elevate your home with help from Rebuild NC. Find out if you are eligible for assistance by calling 833-ASK-RBNC. That's 833-275-7262. Or apply now at rebuild.nc.gov/repair.
This week on Living Fit After 50, our guest will be Bjorn Mohagen from Best Choice Roofing. Among the topics we'll be discussing is how to protect yourself when hiring a contractor. Join us Fridays at 1 p.m. right here on the Big Talker Network.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. In Pender County, Surf City Police are asking the public to be on the lookout for a suspect they say is armed and dangerous. According to police, the man is wanted in connection to a death investigation. The incident happened last night near the Exotic Hemp Company on Charlie Medlin Drive. The man is described as 5'8", about 25 years old, last seen wearing blue shorts and a black backpack. If you have any information, you should contact the Surf City Police Department or call 911. President Joe Biden has announced thousands of dollars in student loan debt cancellation, leading to mixed reaction across the country. Only those making less than $125,000 a year will qualify for loan forgiveness. Up to $20,000 worth of debt will be forgiven for students who received a Pell Grant. Up to $10,000 will be forgiven for those who did not. Representative David Rouser released a statement about the plan, saying in part, quote, "Student debt doesn't automatically disappear no matter how much debt President Biden unilaterally decides the federal government will forgive. His action rewards a few at the expense of all others, incentivizes students not to pay off any student debt in the future, will increase college tuition and other fees even more, and add to inflation as well." And a new TV show filmed here in the Cape Fear is now the #1 program on Netflix. According to the streaming platform, Echoes is a mystery thriller about two identical twins who share a dangerous secret. Since they were kids, the twins have secretly swapped lives, culminating in a double life as adults. It was shot in the Port City and stars Michelle Monaghan, best known for her roles in TV shows like HBO's True Detective, Netflix's Messiah, and Hulu's The Path. For more on these stories, you can head on over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Mostly cloudy skies in store for us once again, but a few peaks of sunshine will allow our temperatures to climb into the middle and upper 80s inland of the coast. Low to middle 80s will do it for high temperatures for coastal areas today. And we're looking at a good deal of dry time on this Thursday with a few showers sticking around this afternoon. Heading into the overnight hours, still not going to rule out any isolated downpours as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Join Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to the program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad, right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit the Big Talker website, bigtalker.live. Download the app for Android and iOS devices. Peruse our schedule of content. Maybe even send an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. Oh, man. It's getting harder to do as I get older. I just gotta tell you, let's see. Do I have any more fun music? Music was last night. On this day, August 25th, 1609, Galileo demonstrates his first telescope to Venetian lawmakers. Almost got him hung. On this date, 8/25/1768, Captain James Cook departs from Plymouth, England on his first voyage on board the Endeavour, bound for the Pacific Ocean. 1894, Japanese scientist Shibasaburo Kitasato discovers the infectious agent of the bubonic plague and publishes his findings in The Lancet. 1990, UN Security Council authorizes military action against Iraq. 1991, one of my heroes, and I'm not going to pronounce his name right, Linus Torvalds, Linux is born when he sends off an email announcing his project to create a new computer operating system. I'm not going to lie, I would love to have a bucket of and I may still, I mean, I got options. But it's quite possible that, Linux is one of the more powerful operating systems. In fact, it was not uncommon for the primary defense entities of the United States using Apple hardware and Linux software. I have one of those Apple Blade servers. It's not a government server. Mine was, accosted or freed, liberated from a guy who should not have ever been in the business in the first place. Anyway, working to expand, working to, bring more voices, more ideas into the fray. So if you have a show or an idea, want to do podcasts, and you don't want to spend the thousands of dollars necessary to prepare with all the hardware, software, and programming and other stuff, you can just, call the Big Talker and say, hey, I want to produce a show with you guys. And I tell you what, we'll hook it up, we'll set it up, we'll be ready, we will be your production arm. How's that? Wouldn't that be cool? All you have to worry about is the content. I'll make it look good and make sure the people you want to hear it. And we do it for a number of shows here at various levels of participation on my part. All Things Brunswick on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Produced right through this. Last night, if you didn't tune in, you should have. If not, it's right there on the Big Talker app on your phone. You can catch all of Voice in the Pen from last night. That was a lot of fun. Good players. I meet new people every week. Some of them I know, some I don't know, some I didn't know played this. It's fun. We also do Living Fit After 50 on Fridays at 1 o'clock. Working on others, like one of them that's been brought on board and is completely automated, available only on the Big Talker app on the Big Talker Network. Defenders Live from 9 to 10, Monday through Friday. We also have Heard Tell in the morning. We have Guns, Politics, and Freedom in the afternoon, premiering on Saturdays. It's, we're building a full schedule. If you want to get involved, if you have a message or a story or a show idea or just want to interview people and put it on the air, as it were. I mean, it's still on the air, and we're still broadcasting, which is interesting. The infrastructure here at the station never actually changed, right? We're still using the same components, the same protocols, the same software. It's just we're not hemorrhaging cash to pay for an FM transmitter. Nor are we hemorrhaging cash paying rent in a 100-year-old rundown building with infrastructure that's taped on. Just, the memories of that building. Whew. Glad I'm out of there. It's much more fun to operate out of my own house, right? Because I know that when I walk into my bathroom, there's not going to be a homeless guy sleeping there. That only happened once. I'm not going to get trapped in the elevator. That's happened twice. I'm not going to get complaints about the weird guy on the 9th floor from all the neighbors who don't realize that techs aren't as pretty as the rest of you. I mean, we do seem to be a judgmental lot. I can tell just by looking at you. Or at least y'all were determining that for yourselves. Looking at me. No, I'm not the prettiest. But I don't think you're going to find too many people who can do what I did last night single-handedly. So yeah, having a marketable skill is one thing. Being an idiot is another. Because it's possible to not be smart in a particular area. For example, politics. Not something I'm good at. But if you need something to look good, sound good, I'm your man. I am definitely that guy. All right, I'm going to take another nap, and you guys are going to go... Oh, what you should do me a favor as this happens. Please, if you don't visit the sponsors and advertisers you're about to listen to, at least give them a call, if you would, and thank them for supporting the Big Talker. I mean, that's a big deal to us. Because the more people that support us, the more we can do for you. It's a community effort, and we would like for our community to get involved. So with that in mind, we will be right back after these messages here at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. In Pender County, Surf City police are asking the public to be on the lookout for a suspect they say is armed and dangerous. According to police, the man is wanted in connection to a death investigation. The incident happened last night near the Exotic Hemp Company on Charlie Medlin Drive. The man is described as 5'8", about 25 years old, last seen wearing blue shorts and a black backpack. If you have any information, you should contact the Surf City Police Department or call 911. President Joe Biden has announced thousands of dollars in student loan debt cancellation, leading to mixed reaction across the country. Only those making less than $125,000 a year will qualify for loan forgiveness. Up to $20,000 worth of debt will be forgiven for students who received a Pell Grant. Up to $10,000 will be forgiven for those who did not. Representative David Rouser released a statement about the plan, saying in part, quote, "Student debt doesn't automatically disappear no matter how much debt President Biden unilaterally decides the federal government will forgive. His action rewards a few at the expense of all others, incentivizes students not to pay off any student debt in the future, will increase college tuition and other fees even more, and add to inflation as well." And a new TV show filmed here in the Cape Fear is now the #1 program on Netflix. According to the streaming platform, Echoes is a mystery thriller about two identical twins who share a dangerous secret. Since they were kids, the twins have secretly swapped lives, culminating in a double life as adults. It was shot in the Port City and stars Michelle Monaghan, best known for her roles in TV shows like HBO's True Detective, Netflix's Messiah, and Hulu's The Path. For more on these stories, you can head on over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Storm Track 3 forecast. Mostly cloudy skies in store for us once again, but a few peaks of sunshine will allow our temperatures to climb into the middle and upper 80s inland of the coast. Low to middle 80s will do it for high temperatures for coastal areas today. And we're looking at a good deal of dry time on this Thursday with a few showers sticking around this afternoon. Heading into the overnight hours, still not going to rule out any isolated downpours as our temperatures drop back down into the low to middle 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to the program whenever you want, however you want, by asking for Big Talker.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum. Your refuge in a world gone mad right here on the Big Talker Network. Please visit the Big Talker website, bigtalker.live. Download the app for Android, iOS devices. Bluetooth pair your Android or iOS device with your automotive entertainment system, and you can take the Big Talker anywhere, everywhere you want to go. Peruse the schedule of content on the website. And you can send an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. We cannot improve without your help. And I would also recommend requesting a professional, actual, knows what he's doing morning show host. You can do that by clicking on the email. I know of a couple. If you need some suggestions, just, hop in the chat and ask me, and I'll help you out. If you want to push back on anything you hear on the station, of course, or at least on this program, you can call us at 910-444-0281. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, I spent a lot of time making this stuff work. We should use it. And we do now and again. I don't mind saying that. What else do we have going? I'm pretty much spent. I would like to say that, this is a personal rant that we need to encourage being supportive. Right? Too many people want to be the star of the show, but there's something missing, right? And I really want to make a meme of this based on the iceberg meme, right? Where you see the top part and then you see the bottom part. And the top part is all the show, all the stuff you see. The part you don't see are all the techs, the engineers, the cable runners, the catering, the security, the drivers. Depending on the size of the show, there could be 200, 300, 400 people involved to make that show happen. And yet, seldom, I would say the percentage of people who have a clue what's going on and what they're doing is going to be in the bottom half, or the bottom part of that iceberg, not necessarily at the top. And this applies to anything performative, whether it's politics, sports, music, arts, whatever. To make any show happen requires a lot of people with a lot of special experience, special skills. I mean, Taylor Swift is proof that any moron with 3 chords and, you can become a star. Now, I get it. Writing songs and, writing one that's popular and resonates with people is fine. But that's not the type of support I'm talking about. I'm talking about, voice in the pen. It's a pet project of mine, and I'm not going to shut up about it because, it's intoxicating. I do this every week. That How many albums does... Let's just ask Google. All right, Google. Google time online. We're going to ask Google questions. How many albums has Taylor Swift released? 9 original albums. She has 9 albums. 9 studio albums, 2 re-recorded studio albums, 5 EPs, 3 live albums, and 14 compilations. She doesn't need any more attention. What she needs is a clue. My point being, actually, that last night we had 4 original singer-songwriters you've never heard of, and they are just as good, if not better, than Taylor Swift. And the only reason why the Taylor Swift albums sound halfway decent is because any jackhole with enough money can make a good-sounding CD. That's the plan. You put some lipsticks on a hot chick and teach her 4 chords and chirp a few words and you got a star. I mean, NSYNC, Boys to Men, it's a formula. And now that she has 9 studio albums, 2 re-recorded studio albums, 5 EPs, 3 live albums, 14 compilations, with over 114 million album units sold worldwide, she doesn't need your crap. We don't need her crap. What we need is something fresh. And we're not going to get fresh by corporations that pay for this type of crap to be shoved down your throat on the American record and radio and whatever else they're using to get this crap into your ear holes. I like the originals, right? I like to see new artists. And I will say, I'm not going to say that every one of them is for everyone. I'm not going to say that every, one of the other items or intentions behind the platform is to give people that don't have experience some experience. I'm not going to say I'm the best sound guy to ever be. Certainly not. But certainly professional enough that if they were to work with me, I can help them out so that the next time they work with a real sound guy, they'll have a little bit, they'll know what to ask for. They'll know what they can do, what they have control over and what they need to ask for, and to not be afraid of it and to not be afraid of themselves. That's the other big thing is a lot of them seem to have a issue. They're freaked out. I hate the sound of my own voice. Same here. And I'm wearing a set of headphones listening to myself in excruciating pain. However, or not pain, I would say discomfort or certainly self-consciousness. Yeah, that affects. That's appropriate. But still, I would like to see more. And this is basically like a flower garden for new artists, upcoming artists, original artists. Right? I mean, I admit I'm a bit of a musical whore. That I'll if you write Brown-Eyed Squirrel on a $20 bill and drop it in the tip jar, I will play that song. That is not a problem. And I will enjoy it because I enjoy playing music. And it doesn't matter the music. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm not playing that song again. Well, it's not about you, dude. And this is where the idea behind having support as a form of education, or at least, making people aware of what support is and how much it's needed in any given situation. You would support the person playing it. You would support the person who's there to hear you. Maybe they have heard it 1,000 times in their life. Maybe you played it 1,000 times in your life. Get over yourself. But that's in the cover world, right? That's where you're playing somebody else's tune that's already famous. And there's a lot of that. And I get it. When tourists come to town and they're drunk and, they're kicking their shoes off and letting their hair down and whatever else phraseology you want to use, then yeah, they want something comfortable. They want a rum and coke and a brown-eyed squirrel. But the point being that if somebody already has well over 100 million records sold worldwide through the old-fashioned conformative situation where the AR representative develops the artist, and then the record company, right? There aren't as many record companies anymore. They're corporations that are producing music that's, basically pablum for the masses. And to me, that's just, there's no flavor. It's sterilized. It's, just like a lot of country music, it's corporate formula. Here's your chorus, here's your hook. Here's your chorus, here's your hook. Here's your verse. Sing the verse again after the chorus and the hook. We'll have a little slide guitar or something here in the middle that sounds country, and then boom. We'll put millions of dollars behind it in advertising and flats and crap like that so that we can sell these records, but, we're not going to pay a lot of attention to upcoming artists like we used to in the 50s and 60s. Frank Zappa had a great retort when asked about music and the music industry. He said, look, man, back in the 60s, you had people in suits who didn't know a damn thing about music. And they admitted it. And they were like, man, I don't know. Hey, look, here's $20,000. Go make a record. And if the record sold, cool. And if it didn't sell, it's like, all right, let's try something else. But they were given a freedom to say, all right, what do the kids want to hear? What do the people who are buying records want to hear? We no longer have that option. The only way that you can hear what you want to hear is you have to go find it. The corporations, much like, Geffen Records or RCA or whoever is left in the game, they're not going to seek out new experimental material because it's not safe. Right? It's like investing in a commodity of some sort. If it's not going to guarantee a return on that investment, they are not going to participate. So yeah, Taylor Swift, all she has to do is say, hey, I want to cut a record. $20,000. Boom. Here you go. So it's only places like Voice in the Pen where you're going to hear new original artists. And what's really cool is that the creativity of this, upcoming generation, some of them are my age, some of them are younger. It's no big deal. But the technology is new. So now that we have a whole breed of technology that allows more and more to happen, we even have kids going, or I can't say, I'd say kids because they're all younger than me, coming at me with a 4-string uke and crushed it. I don't even know what other terms to use. She's not a guitar player. She doesn't need to be. She's great with the lyrics. She's great with the singing. And a ukulele was a perfect blend. Had you asked me this 30 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. And a ukulele is not a real instrument. Since then, I've had some realizations that, look, anything it takes to make music is an instrument. And being a musician, which was kind of drilled into me as a kid, is independent of the instrument. That is, you can play Happy Birthday on a kazoo as well as you can play it on a clarinet, a violin, a bassoon. It doesn't matter. What matters is the attitude of the player. There are a lot of times I've seen the attitude of the player being less than the attitude necessary or required to bring the type of energy and life into what, why we do this. Why is it after a hard day you play a particular tune to get your head right? Right? And I admit there's, the number of songs in my history in my brain that I will consider, these are some of the songs of my life, the soundtrack of my existence. It has everything from Scorpions to Kiss, to Rush, to Van Halen, to Mozart. Even some of the Chopin and Liszt. Get it? Chopin, Liszt? Never mind. That was a really bad dad joke. So yeah, being supportive is a lot more than performative. It requires some sacrifice. right? Because I know I'm going to hurt on Thursday mornings when I come in to do the morning show after being up all night doing Voice in the Pen. But that's what I'm willing to do. And I don't think, it seems that there are people that aren't willing to do a gosh darn thing to support even the next door neighbor, let alone the original artist trying to get his work out there. And maybe it's not your favorite, but it could be somebody's. Should be. Maybe more than one. I mean, that was one of the things I was taught early on in my TV career is like, look, no matter what gig you're on, it's not just another gig. It's somebody's reason to get through the week. Right? And it should receive the same love as somebody who's relying on that because they enjoy it. So every frame of video, because that's what we were doing at the time, should have as much of you and your personal investment in it as the person tuning in to watch it. But these are some of the isms that aren't going to make it in the regular world, right? Because it's just not popular, it's not profitable, it's not, what is it, social media influencer level quality. I'm not about that. I would really like to see the country be more supportive all the way around. Support the teachers, support the police, support the investigators, support the the policies, the legislation. Supporting requires a lot of work. Not just throwing money. Yeah, we support you. Here's $50. You want to support original music? Go to the damn show. Throw $5 in the jar, for Christ's sake. You spend more than that on your venti latte. Venti latte. It's like, man, you're stupid in 3 or 4 languages. Just stop it. This is why I don't go to a lot of coffee joints, because they're just too damned pretentious. Do you not understand that the only reason why I'm drinking coffee is so that I don't go to prison for ripping your head off or being an idiot and wasting my flippin' time with your stupid? If I'm here to get a cup of coffee, I don't want any, I don't need a slip of paper, right? And if you're doing your job right, you shouldn't have to know my name. Now, to be fair, for the morons that are ordering a drink that takes 15 minutes to prepare and tipping the barista a dime or so, whatever coin change is left after your $9 super stupid drink, that the barista has to stop everything she's doing and for the next 10 minutes dedicate her entire existence to your dumbass. That's why I get upset when people are in fast food restaurants and they're trying to be all gourmet about it. Dude, it's a fast food restaurant. Just pick a number and go. Well, I need it on gluten. Look, I get it. If you have an allergy or something of that nature, don't try to make a restaurant cater, a fast food restaurant, certainly cater to your dietary issues, right? I have the same problem with clothing. Let's just put this into perspective. There is nothing I can buy off the rack that fits me. And I am kind of upset about it because it's difficult and expensive and awkward to buy something that's close, and then I have to do all kind of crap so it doesn't fall off of me. Right? Because a 36 inseam, for whatever reason, the rest of America seems to think that a 36 inseam requires a 52-inch waist. I have a 29-inch waist. There is no clothing for me. I'm 6'1", right? But I can't blame Levi's. I do have to order special if I want something that's not going to hang on me like a windsock. Because that's not where their money is. Their money is in the fat people. Their money is in the people that are of, disproportionate body shapes. So when I go to a fast food restaurant, it's like, okay, a number 3. That's about as close as I'm going to get to what it is I'm looking for right now. It's a meat wad, some fries, and a shake or a drink of some sort. That's the formula. I mean, any of those fast food restaurants with a logo and a jingle is serving the same crap in a different color package. That's it. That's the only difference. So when somebody walks, I'd been in there been to one, and I won't do it again. And they were trying to custom order their own gourmet meal that, they want this done this way, and then, but, I don't want any, dude, stop. Fry boy back there is just trying to get through the day. And now you've made a special, and you're in the middle of a lunch rush, for goodness sakes, right? So there's a line out the door, and you're going to interrupt everybody and everything just because you are special. If you want to be special, go to a place that is special. McDonald's is not special. I will say Waffle House is pretty special because that's their gig, their short order. None of it is made before you get there. It's just waiting for you to get there, and then they'll start putting it together. So if you want mushrooms and onions on your hash browns, that's going to be a problem. McDonald's is not set up for that. McDonald's is set up like a car factory. All the burgers are already pretty much made by the time you get there. So that way they can just assemble it quickly. Oh, look, this one doesn't want lettuce. That's not a big deal. But if you're trying to go with, stop. I can't even be, I just looked at the person, just like, where is this? Where is the disconnect, right? Are you completely so unaware of the world around you that the line out the door just doesn't enter into your reality, right? In common space, right? Common areas. This is where I think we have a lot of problems with, like, in traffic. And I will say that it was kind of glorious to watch the other day. Some jackhole decides that they're going to cut in and out of traffic in their little sports car. Which is fine if you got a sports car, but just realize that when you're cutting in and around or doing 10 to 15 miles over the speed limit around everybody else, you're being stupid, you're being dangerous, you're being childish. And the fact that you got pulled over by the cops is not anything. You deserve that. You earned it. You asked, or you were begging for it. When we are in commonplace, like on the road, there should be nothing but courtesy, awareness, right? One of my favorite things to do when I see somebody in the fast lane, the left lane of a freeway while they're texting on the phone, is to get right next to them. And just stay right next to them. Because they're usually running under the speed limit. Because they're like, I don't want to go too fast, I'm texting, and I'm going to use the fast lane because there's nobody in front of me, so I'm just going to sit here and text. So it's a, 70 mile an hour zone. The guy's doing 50 because he's texting. I'm now doing 50 right next to him. There's 100 people behind us. And it was about this time, it didn't take long, that the guy behind him got really upset, started honking his horn. I started honking my horn. Everybody started honking his horn. The guy dropped his phone, almost went off the road. Not a policeman nearby to say, hey, you know what? Texting and driving isn't a good idea. But we tolerate it just like we tolerate the BS performative crap from our politicians on the campaign trail. If we don't allow this in your 3-year-old or your 5-year-old on the playground, we sure as hell shouldn't allow it or accept, from our politicians and representatives. Because if they are behaving like they belong on a third-grade playground, they have no business being in Congress, in legislation, in Senate, anywhere. That tells me that they are obviously in some sort of battle with their own sense of superiority, that they have to put others down to make themselves feel better or seem more important. Again, if we don't tolerate the behavior in a 5-year-old, we should not tolerate that in our politicians. Can we just agree on that? I don't care which side of the aisle you're on, or whatever you want to call it, but that should just be a new rule. If you can't refer to the person by their name, don't. Just don't. Just leave it alone. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a nap. Because I could use one. Don't forget, tomorrow we have Living Fit After 50 with Dan and Lori Romand. Talls and Smalls. Consumer Choice Radio, Guns, Politics, Freedom. It's just, we're doing everything we can to grow, and we need your help. So please, call our sponsors and let them know that you appreciate them supporting the Big Talker. And with that in mind, the Asylum is going to end another broadcast morning. And we will see you tomorrow right here on the Big Talker Network. Here at the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. See you tomorrow. You're tuned in to the Big Talker Network, Wilmington, North Carolina's premier internet station for news and talk radio programming. Find us online at bigtalker.live.
Government has become too